Khamzat Chimaev back in the news again. Kevin Holland came off of a devastating knockout of Jacare Souza at UFC 256. I mean, vaulted himself into the spotlight, even more so if you weren't following him before. You had to after that performance. And he called out Khamzat Chimaev. That's right. He went ahead and, I mean, we've heard about people ducking Khamzat. He's just straight called him out. I love this call out. Matt, how do you feel about this?
It's a very, very smart call out for a guy who is really surging through the division right now, right? Why not put your name next to that guy that everyone is talking about? All the headlines are talking about. I mean, look, we have a whole network here named after the man, CNN, this very platform you're watching this video on right now, okay? The Chimaev News Network. Listen, it's a smart call out. Do I like it, though, in terms of timing and things like that? Probably not. Probably not the best idea, considering, I like to see guys face the people that are already there as they're climbing up the ladder. I don't want to see two guys that are climbing the ladder face each other and, knock each other down a peg. I want to see, like, if you're both ranked number 15 right now, which they both are in their respective divisions, I want to see you face the other guys that have lower numbers. I don't want to see you fight each other on the way to the top, unless if there's a situation that specifically demands it, like, someone just isn't available to make a fight happen within a reasonable amount of time, and you guys are both ready, and that's literally the only option, then okay, I guess. But I would generally try to avoid the prospect. I don't even really want to call them prospects, but the guys that are climbing up the ladder, I generally want those guys to avoid each other as long as possible.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I like the call out. I like the ballsiness of the call out. Just, again, smart move by him, as you said. But in terms of the actual match, I mean, here's the thing. Had Khamzat versus Leon gone on next weekend as planned, and let's say Khamzat gets it done, then I love it. Because then that's Khamzat is now ranked very highly in the welterweight division. And you could go ahead and do Holland versus Khamzat. And if Holland ends up winning, doesn't hurt Khamzat's stock too much, because he can just say, actually, you know what, I'm a welterweight. I was fighting at middleweight, but it's not really my true weight class type of deal. He could kind of play that off. And it could also kind of, give Khamzat a little bit more. If Khamzat were to win, it could give him a little bit more, experience in the octagon rather than just like immediate title shot. So then in that situation, I kind of love that call out, just because you're messing around with the different weight classes. I think you could make it work. But since that's off, and as you said, right now, these are two surging guys in the welterweight and middleweight divisions. I don't like the match happening anytime soon. I would say, rebook Khamzat versus Leon, or Khamzat versus anyone in the top 10, 15 of welterweight. That makes sense. And get Holland, back against, I like the Hermanson fight. I also really like Vettori. I think that would be a great matchup, because Vittori's kind of thrown himself up there now. I think that could be a good kind of I don't know if you do a title eliminator, but maybe a number one contender eliminator, in terms of getting them one more match that then would get them a shot at Izzy. But yeah, I don't think it's the right time for this match. I'm with you there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like, I love the Vettori matchup as well. I mean, the guy jumped 8 spots in the rankings in 1 week. 8 spots. That's a huge jump. Kevin Holland could very well be in the top 10 come next week. We'll see how the rankings actually shake out. I mean, you go out there and knock out Jacare like that. I mean, that's super impressive. Super impressive to do it in the unique fashion he did it as well. Off of his back, like, just punches off the back. We never really see him be all that effective, right? He kind of rocked him, and then it was just a weird sequence. Like, I haven't seen a sequence like that in a long time, where the guy just rocks him from the bottom like that. Kind of wild.
The last one I could think of is Nico Price and James Vick.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I think that's the last time I've seen anything like that that I can recall. But yeah, it was such a crazy sequence where he rocked Jacare and then got up and stood over him and kind of just punched him down. And man, it breaks my heart.
Folded over on his legs too. He couldn't move, and he had him stuck. That was weird.
It was as a big Jacare fan. For those of you that watch the Tailgate show, I was all about Jacare. It broke my heart, but at the same time, passing of the torch. Holland definitely proved he needs to be fighting top 15, top 10 competition easy at this point. But yeah, I mean, it was nasty. So yeah, I like Vettori. Any other people that Holland should fight at this point? Should Khamzat and Holland be lined up against each other, especially since Chimaev is really right now gunning for welterweight?
Yeah.
In terms of ranking, and then maybe a title shot. Should they even really be matched up because they are, such surging prospects? Does it ever make sense to have this fight really come to fruition?
It could. Let's say if something happens to this Leon Edwards fight, right? Like, who knows what's happening there at 170 for Khamzat. So, I mean, he's proven in this short time here in the UFC that he's willing to just jump classes and do whatever is available for him. So if something happens to this Leon Edwards fight early 2021, I mean, if somebody at 185 is available, I don't see him not stepping in there against him. I mean, it's when you have a guy that's willing to go back and forth like that and can do it with ease and perform at seemingly the same level, I don't see why he wouldn't do it and why the promotion wouldn't want it to happen either. Because he is a popular guy as well. So he's going to bring eyes to the TV screens, and that's what the UFC wants more than anything, right? So I like it, man. I like the idea of them fighting, just not right now. Just not right now. Just don't do it. Like, if you guys want to have a race, I mean, listen, Khamzat, technically, if you want to talk about like who's got more pull right now, it's obviously Khamzat because he's fighting the number 3 ranked guy. Kevin Holland just beat a guy who's not in the rankings right now in Jacare. Right. So, and who just got in the rankings himself. And of course, Khamzat just got in the rankings, a couple of weeks ago on his own right. So they're both new to the top 15, but one is already in there against the top 5 opponent. So, and of course, you don't see Khamzat calling out Kevin Holland. So we know who's the A side here in this matchup, right? But depending on how things shake out over the next couple of months, it's going to be interesting to see, because if Kevin Holland gets matched up with a top 5 opponent like Marvin Vettori, who is number 5 right now, that could definitely speed up that matchup between those two. If it comes down to, hey, Kevin Holland versus Khamzat at 185 to determine who's fighting Izzy come like June or something, that would be pretty crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If, let's say, Holland goes out there, fights Vettori, beats him, all of a sudden Holland's in the top 5, that's an easy person for Khamzat to say, he called me out. I'm just going to go ahead and now skip and jump the ranks at middleweight, where honestly, if you were going to have him jump up to a top 5 opponent, that makes more sense given that he's had more fights at middleweight than welterweight in the UFC at this point. But yeah, I like it. I like that scenario a lot. All right, make sure you like and subscribe. Let us know, if you think this is a good matchup now. If you're with us, you want to wait on it. If you want to go ahead and speed it up. But here is the ultimate question to wrap out this segment.
All right,
and you know what's coming. I think you know what's coming here.
I have no idea where you're going. Hit me.
Chimaev versus Holland. Who wins? Oh. And how?
What a easy question, sir. What a very easy question. Oh my God. As we have seen, Khamzat Chimaev has just been an absolute wrecking ball. All right. It's hard to pick against that man right now. Kevin Holland has also proven that he's got the ability to take out people that we didn't expect him to take out. And one X factor I think I will throw into this to my prediction. I'm going to go super bold with my prediction right now because recency bias. And I've recently seen Kevin Holland compete as less than 24 hours ago. So he is fresh in my mind. He is the hotness right now in my mind. So I'm going with Kevin Holland by taking Khamzat out of his game by trash talking after he jabs him. And then, if Khamzat gets him down in guard, Kevin Holland has proven I can knock you out from down here. So Khamzat better be on his P's and Q's when he gets Kevin Holland on the mat. So I'm going Kevin Holland based on recency bias alone. I
mean, that's about
what say you? What say you?
Oh, I'll get there. I'm just gonna say that's about as bold as you could get on CNN, the Chimaev News Network. You're picking against. Whew, okay. For me, I will also use recency bias to make my decision. Chimaev has looked unstoppable, right? I mean, he's only been in there 3 times. Quality of opponent, GM3 is not a bad opponent, and he just torched him. Here, though, is where I think I've got to still go Chimaev. And that's because Holland's weakness does seem to be getting taken down. Jacare had not landed a takedown since 2017. He had 1 takedown since 2017 when he walked into that Holland fight. He landed 2. He's older. It was clearly, especially the second takedown, you could tell it kind of winded Jacare a little bit. It broke my heart. He's just old. But I mean, that is an issue he's had. And his last loss was a submission. It was a rear naked choke by Brendan Alley. Got him down and he took him out. So I think given what we've seen Chimaev be able to do with just ragdolling people and taking him down in his previous 2 fights before he fought Gerald Mearshot. Obviously, that was just a 1-punch done. But, I mean, he ragdolled those people. I think that's going to be a big problem for Holland. Even though Holland can be tricky off his back, I just think it's going to be a mauling. I think it's Chimaev all day. I think it's just a little bit too much. Should be a good fight if it ever happens. But I got to go with the man that pays the bills. It's Chimaev by mauling. First round mauling.
Wow.
That's my prediction.
Wow. So. I agree with you. He actually would win in all seriousness. But I want to touch on something right there that you mentioned, even though it's not directly related to either one of these two. But Jacare, like you said, when Jacare got that takedown, like there used to be a time when Jacare got you to the mat, it was a wrap. Like it was Habib level. Like if Jacare gets this to the mat, you're not getting up. Game over. I didn't even think that for a second watching this fight. I was like, Jacare got it down. I was like, okay, how long is he going to keep it here now? Like, that's how far he's fallen off. And he's probably going to be one of those 60 getting cut here soon.
See, a lot of people are saying that, and it could be, but what I would say there is, honestly, I got to think that maybe, because he's made some hints at maybe hanging up the gloves anyway. I think he could probably convince the UFC to let him fight out once or twice and do a retirement. I see that more likely than them cutting him, just because he's also not, he never rose enough to a status. Like when you get that big pay bump, it usually comes from a title challenger or holding the title. He never got there. So he's got a lot of fights in the UFC. He is higher paid. I could see him getting cut. It wouldn't shock me, but I also think that, especially with his previous comments about wanting to hang him up anyway, my guess is he goes back to the UFC and says, you know what, like give me like 1 or 2 more and let me, ride out of here. And in that situation, I'd expect the UFC to let that happen. Maybe. But then again, this is fanboy of Jacare talking, so maybe I'm just being optimistic. But
right there with you.
Yeah, I mean, just sad gator. Sad gator claps.
Sad gator claps.
Sad gator clap.
Yes.
Oh, let us know in the comments who you think would win between Kevin Holland and Chimaev. Obviously, we're split. Matt tried to save his job at the end there. I don't know. We'll leave it up to the editor. But, it's let us know.
Controversy sells, man. That's all it is.
It's true. It's true. Let us know who you think he'd win. And, yeah, just sad gator claps. That's all. That's how we're going to end this one. Just